Good evening, everyone. This is the PKR podcast. I'm Kelso. This is Julian, and today's conversation is going to be about ancient mythology and ancient history. So, I guess let's hop right down to her. The first one we're going to get into a little bit of Viking history and their mythology. So, right off rip, since we're going to be in this topic, have you ever seen the show Vikings?
So I haven't seen Vikings, no, but I've seen this one show. What was it called? It was like something Kingdom. And basically, there's like a group of nobles, right?
I feel like I know what you're talking about. Ain't that on Netflix?
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
And it's the guy that at first he's the son of a king, and they're like they're doing good in this land or whatever, they got control of the kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden this group of Vikings comes in and just completely slays everybody and takes over.
So in this show, the Vikings are the bad guys.
Yeah. Well, they turn into I don't know, it's kind of weird. And then he takes the lead Viking takes the son of the king and basically turns him into like a Viking. And they had a certain name for him, but I can't remember. So I've watched shows about it and stuff.
If you can, check it out sometime. It should be on Netflix now, I believe. You got Vikings, and then you got Vikings Valhalla. So check those out.
Definitely.
That really, really good show. They got about 8 seasons, I want to say. Really, really phenomenal show. Paul used to think that he wouldn't like it, and then I finally got him to come in and watch a little bit. And he sat his ass down, and I had to start it from the first episode. And it was on.
Hell yeah.
We binge watched the fuck out of it. Anywho, Vikings. So you got they go crusading and all this other. They pillage. Yeah. They do what they gotta do, and then most shows they are the bad guys, which is understandable. You chilling in your house, and then I come over and pillage your house, take all your shit, and if you're really unlucky, I just chop your fucking head off, and move on to the next house and the next house, and so on and so forth, Because, and then if we don't do that, we sit there, we just take you as a slave, and we'll either sacrifice you to our god, or we'll sit there and make you keep feeding our goats. You'll be sleeping out there with the goats and the pigs and shit,
Oh, yeah.
And it's crazy. I like the Viking era, though, sadly, as fucked as it sounds. But if you think about it, they never really stayed in one spot. Yeah. Vikings traveled. They moved from land to land to land. They expand.
Yeah.
So say you and me were next to kin, we're family. I decided to stay here, and you were ready to be the chief of your own people. Yeah. So you disband from our big group. You take 10, 15 people, and you move on to your own spot, and you start your own legacy. And then if you have 2, 3 sons, they do the same thing. As you grow in a bigger community, and you separate, just keep on going, and I like that. As fucked as everything else about them is,
I get it.
But they had morals. They had for their own people, though, because if you got to think about it, we're trying to help our people. We could care less about any of your guys's, because we're trying to sit there and bring all the riches to our families, our crew. Yeah. If we have an ally, we have to split what we pillage with that ally, because if not, then next thing you know it, we're going at war with our own people. And Vikings were like that. They had no problem sitting there and fucking each other up. Man, they were just heavy. And then you had these Vikings that were called berserkers. Those are the guys that have 0 fucks to give.
Yeah.
They think they are untouchable for the most part. And you're talking about these are guys, they can come out with 2 axes or a big old axe and whatever, and they don't care. Yeah. You can stab them and they cut your fucking head off, and So crazy.
Something
man.
I think that's so cool about them is like, think about it, bro. At that time, like all the civilizations that they were pillaging, like all the villages and shit, were just getting established. So like, imagine you're just like getting your shit, like you finally found a way to fucking go to the bathroom or some shit in your humble abode in your little wooden shack, dude. Fucking found a way to cook over a fire and your shit, and you're like, you know what, we got this, bro. We're doing good. And all of a sudden, bro, fucking hundreds of giant bearded men come and just destroy everything you've ever known and you've worked so fucking hard for. Like they took advantage of fucking just straight brute fucking force, man. They came and just fucked everybody up, dude, and everybody wasn't expecting it. And that was so crazy. They were almost like how do I describe it? They were like fucking
their own army.
Yeah, bro. Like,
well, they sit there. Like, I don't know. I can't say because I wasn't there. I'm not too educated. I don't know how big their groups are and how many alliances they are. But it's like, from what I've seen from the shows and the movies and from the books I've read, they sit there and they have these alliances. Like, say you and me and Paul, we were all at war with each other. But then it's like, let's go raid these guys from this different island way over there that has nothing to do with us. And we'll split it all between the three of us. So let's not even worry about stopping the war between the three of us. Let's just put it on hold, see how this pillage goes, take all their valuables, bring back whatever slaves we needed, and da-di-da-di-da-da. And then we can either agree to not fight each other, or, once everything's divided, everything's said and done, we go back to beating the shit out of each other until the next pillage trip. And then, hey, let's put our war on hold and let's go pillage again,
And you know what they remind me of kind of is the Mongolian fucking empire, like Genghis Khan.
Them are fucking heavies, man.
And now were they like at the same time period? Do you know that? Like
I don't think so. That's a good question. Well, maybe because you gotta think Vikings
geographically they were somewhat close, and they had to have been.
If they were in the same period. They probably did run into each other because you got Vikings everywhere and shit. So, I mean, they could have ran into each other, but
do you know
Mongolian?
Do you know when the last Viking civilization?
Oh, that started to end as they started getting more into
so late 1500s,
once you started seeing more and more knights come over, and they all started to intertangle with each other, and so because you had your Vikings, like this is the best way for me to put it. You had Vikings, and then which were called Danes and shit,
right.
And then you had the French and the British and people of England, right?
Yeah.
So at some point, I forgot what year, but they started kind of intertwining with each other after all this time of war and fighting was done. They started, working together. Some of them started dating and banging each other, and some of them started changing religions. So some of them started becoming Christian instead of Dane.
Right.
And some of them become Dane instead of Christian. But they will always have their blood in them. Like if you were a Dane and I was a Christian and you decided to become a Christian and I became a Dane, you weren't treated like shit, but it's I was a Christian that is now becoming a Viking. So they will sit there and dog on me a little bit more. And then you are a Dane becoming a Christian, they will always be skeptical about you. They will always keep their eyes on you and debate on if they should take you out or not. You know what I mean? But then for the Vikings, they could have just been like, hey, Christian.
Yeah, that is.
They don't. Some Christians became cool with Vikings. Some some Danes started becoming cool with Christians, but you always have those handfuls that were like, traitor, fuck you, And
well, I looked the whole Mongols and Vikings thing up if they would have ran into each other, and it says that the Mongols The Mongols Empire started. Well, they called them the Mongols.
Oh, okay.
That was the empire's name.
Every time I hear it, I just think of Harry Potter. When they call them Mongols and shit like that. So it's
the Mongolian Empire started, they think, 200 years after the end of the Viking Age.
See, that's what I was thinking roughly, but then I just started thinking about, at the same time,
there's still. So it's like when a civilization like that, like take the Vikings for example, falls off, there's still gonna be trickling, like there's still going to be components of that Viking civilization for hundreds of years.
There's still people with the Dane blood in them. It's just,
so I feel like there is a chance possibly that they could have.
But I know for the most part with the Danes and the Vikings, they were a little bit, because that sounds right, because that was before because they were making the buildings out of mud and wood and shit like that, but then you go to Rome or whatever, and they're already ahead. They're using stones and giants.
Empire. Empire, they were building temples and palaces and
Vikings,
like that.
I'd definitely say, was a before thing, because they were sitting there. They were living in like little huts. Well, way bigger than that, but they were simply built. You got mud walls, you got hay roofs. Because a lot of times they sit there and catch other people's roofs on fire when they were either fighting, taking care of traders, and or pillaging.
And also what I just thought about, geographically, I don't think that the Mongolians and the Vikings could have met, because the Vikings were mainly located Greenland, Iceland, that whole top.
And then they were on the other side of the world. You got here, and then they're like down here.
The chances of them running into each other is probably pretty low in that time period. So I didn't think about that. But what was so cool about that time period, though, like I'd give anything to be just like a fucking explorer from the 1600s, bro. Like everything you were exploring at that time was just like imagine that, bro. You just come upon a new fucking land. You name that bitch whatever you want.
That's cool.
That'd be so cool, bro.
But you also gotta take account, on average, you'd probably die about 30 years old.
That's true.
So it's like, on average, when you were 30, you were already considered grandpa.
Yeah.
Hey, right now, if I lived back then, I would already probably be one of the elders of the fucking place at this point, bro. And if you manage to live to be like 40, 50, 60, then you're a god at this point, bro. Because like you'd get diseases.
Yeah, dude.
Because back then, one, they didn't really have medicine. What they would do is take a knife, make that bitch glow red hot, and singe your wounds closed, or pack it full of dirt, or like I said, their housing, they slept on, like, if you think about it now, it wasn't clean. Their floor was dirt. Their roofing and shit, like, I don't know how they managed to keep that shit warm in the winter. Like, they must have killed a shit ton of animals and, like, stuffed in the walls. I don't fucking know. I wasn't there.
Yeah. No.
But, like, they were able to do what they did, but a lot of them died off quickly, bro. Especially during birth and shit. Oh my god, I don't even want to think about what they're using for that shit. Like, if they gotta cut the baby out, ow.
We have
pulls out the fucking axe. I got this.
We have shots and vaccines for the most simple shit that we can get sick from. Like, we have a vaccine that prevents us from tetanus. That's literally only touching rust and shit like that. So imagine just living in that time period, bro. They were all always fucking just sick.
Well, I would assume at one point or another, if you managed to live through all that shit, some people started to build that resilience and shit. Like,
that's true.
Because if you look at it now, like, you could have a baby that dies from the common flu because of all these shots and shit.
Yeah.
Well, it's like now, if you this way is more risky, but if you get the disease, you deal with it, you make sure with all the shit you can get now to help you survive it, and you can get through it, that shit naturally, your body's going to be a lot stronger from it. But now back to the Viking stuff. So let's start getting more into their
spirituality.
Thank you. I can't speak for shit. So, and with that being said,
going to
Valhalla, and we're gonna talk about ways you can and can't get into Valhalla.
So you know more about this topic. So can I describe what I know Valhalla as, and you expand on that?
Oh, for sure.
Okay, because you know more about this topic than me, but I'm pretty sure I know to the extent of what Valhalla entails, like what it is. So it's basically it's all about battle, right? They were all warriors, and it's kind of like a samurai type of situation. They wanted to go out with honor. They didn't want to go out as, like cry and scream. They wanted to go out as a man with honor. And so when they were defeated in battle, I'm trying to remember.
You want me to help you out a little bit?
They would make it to where it was like a respectable kill, like or was that more of a samurai thing?
That's definitely a samurai thing.
Okay,
yeah.
all right. So no, they just wanted to get stabbed and wanted to get it over with, make no noise, make no sound, and just go to Valhalla, go to that peaceful place of war.
Somewhat, yeah. Kind of. Somewhat, yeah. So with most Vikings, even the ones who managed to survive to be 40, 50, a lot of them, they would like to die in battle, yes.
By sword.
So, they want to die with their weapon in their hand, fighting, So it's like, because with what you were going at with the respectable death is one of the things that, which what you're going is what they would do is they would stab themselves in the stomach, and you would have to have like your best friend or someone that you would know would make a quick, clean cut. Because as soon you don't want to suffer, you're stabbing yourself in the you don't want fuck. Yeah. So as soon as you push that knife into your stomach, your buddy would cut your head off.
Yep.
So that way you wouldn't suffer.
I see.
And some of them, they stab themselves in the stomach and they cut sideways and basically almost spill their guts. But as soon as they make that cut going sideways, as soon as they start, because they do it with so much force, so as soon as they start, you can hurry up and cut their head off. So that way, as soon as you do it, they've already done that.
And that was more of a samurai thing because they had the katanas, those real sharpened katanas that could just.
Oh, yeah. Now, with Vikings, what I was getting at, this can go from any age because once you were 13, you were considered a man.
Yeah.
Yep. But they didn't go to battle till they were like 15, 16. But
because as a 13-year-old, you're a fucking little scrawny guy.
They have you working and training, and you'll go out hunting and stuff by yourself. But when you're 15, 16, then they'll start taking you to war and shit.
And what's interesting about that is they did that in ancient, like
they've done that for thousands of years. Yeah, they've done that. Everything, all the way from Greek, Rome, Sparta. Yeah,
and that's so interesting to me how that.
But now it's like you have to be 18 nowadays.
Yeah.
But
that's more of just like a legality thing and shit. Back then, boy, they didn't give a fuck. If
they
you
were
had
there,
fucking 2 hands and some muscle, boy, you were getting the fuck out there. If you were able, you were fighting.
But now for the Valhalla part, say you, me, Paul, and a bunch of other guys are fighting. We would want to fight to our last breath. So it's like you cut my hand off and stabbed me, and I'm still alive. I'm still coming at you until I am dead. And like if I'm sitting there dying and shit, and like if you weren't like an asshole and you were standing over me, letting me get what I want, like I'd be like put my axe in my hand or some shit because I would want to take that to Valhalla with me, so that way when Odin wants to go to war, I have my weapon that I died with in my hand ready to go to battle with Odin.
I remember that from the show that I watched. Like I remember one of the fight scenes, like one of the battle scenes, the one guy was dying, like he was chopping him up and he was like, "Put my axe in my hand," like he's screaming it. Like, put my axe in my hand, like. So wow, that does. They need to die in a battle. They need to.
That's fighting for what. That's how they feel like would be the best way to enter Valhalla. That's like the best honorable way to go. The ones that die of old age and go to Valhalla, they go the peaceful way. They happy, they cool, they lived their life, they fought their battles, they did what they did.
Yeah.
But a lot of them would rather die with their weapon in their hand.
It needs to be for Valhalla.
You know?
I get
But
it.
then here's another way. And this way is brutal. This is for the people that they don't think should go to Valhalla. So this is going to be a very fucked and vivid explanation.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the best way I can put it.
Yeah.
Because I think this is a great punishment. So say you and me were brothers.
Right.
I'm the chief and the chieftain, and I'm about to go to war, and I leave you to take control of shit while I'm gone.
Of course.
I'm married, right?
Yeah.
I come home and find out you just fucked my wife, and now you are personally on my shit list, and I now am going to make an example out of you in the most brutal way. I would sit you down, have your arms tied like this, so that way you can't try to run off or nothing. And the thing is, you're going to get blood eagled, and you are not allowed to scream or make any sound.
Yeah.
You have to sit there and take it. And if you can, you will enter Valhalla. If you make a squeal, if you cry, if you scream, then you're fucked. You're not going to Valhalla. You're done. You're over.
And that's another good thing about this time period. There was justice. There was persecution. So they looked at those devilish people as, no, you're out of here, buddy. You're done for.
Yeah.
They weren't just
blood or not, like you done something that bad.
They were putting you the fuck out.
You're
if you
done.
Deserved it, dude.
So anyway, in the Blood Eagle, this is by far one of my favorite, most fucked methods of, in my eyes, a torture. You know, it's a torture.
Yeah.
And what they do, let me use you for example. Turn around, give them your back. Let them see your back real quick.
Live example here.
All right, so
PKR podcast, anything goes.
They cut you down from here. Down your spine almost. Just deep enough. Not while they're fucking your spine up, but where they can pull that flesh out, expose your ribs, and they snap your ribs so they can see your lungs. And then what they do is, as long as you're still alive, I mean, they're going to do it regardless, but hopefully you're still alive.
Right.
They pull your lungs and they expand them on the sides so they look like wings. And it is called a blood eagle.
Wow.
And it's just one hell of a brutal way to die, man.
Oh, I bet.
And if you've played Assassin's Creed Valhalla, there's a scene where you end up doing this to someone. I don't show you that to that extent. Oh, maybe they do. They might. I don't remember. I'd have to get back into the game. Anyway, so your character does the blood eagle to someone, and like they hang him like this. They hang him up off the ground, tied up for everyone to see him off the cliff. And like you can just see the look of terror and pain and everything in his face. This was not a Dane. This was a Christian that they were having a war with, that done them dirty. So in his eyes, he said, fuck you. You fucked us.
Bro, you need to watch that show, the Last Kingdom show I was talking about. Like,
I'm gonna definitely check it out.
Saxons or something.
Saxons were the English and the British and shit.
There was Saxons, and there was the
Danes.
Yeah, okay.
The Danes
Saxons and Danes. Yeah, it was.
Danes. Unless I definitely don't believe I got this backwards, but Danes are Vikings, Saxons are like the English and shit like that.
Yeah.
It might be a 5% chance I got it backwards, but I'm pretty sure I'm right about that.
I can't remember, man. I watched that show like 3 years ago.
I'm about to Google that one for me real quick. Otherwise, it's going to drive me nuts.
Hell yeah. But no, man. That whole time period must have just been so fucking wild to live in. Like you grow up, you're born, you grow up, and you're straight into into battle, training for battle. Your whole life, everything, bro, literally. And your father and your uncle, they go to fucking battle, they go to war every few.
Oh, yeah.
You see them, they're big fucking bearded Vikings, buff fucks, man.
When they went to do their trips, they would be gone anywhere between a few months to a year, 2 years, maybe 3 years. Depends how far out they are, because they set up camps, they set up their own things. And then when they do finally go home, they're there for anywhere between months, year to maybe a year, 2 years, you know. Just whenever they feel like, hey, we're getting a little low, we need to go, you know, fuck some people up, take their shit, and bring it home. So...
No taxes, no rent, no just you're worried about your squadron, dude.
Pretty much.
That's fucking it's great.
I'm gonna check out The Last Kingdom. You gotta watch The Vikings.
I will.
I'll quiz you on that, and you can quiz me on the other one. I just gotta renew my Netflix. We'll see. So I'll probably be able to do that by like not this month, but next month I'll be able to. I'm so far behind this month, but. Next month, I'll definitely get into it.
We were originally talking about their spirituality and everything, and you want to get into like their believings in the gods, like Thor, Odin, and Loki, and
then you got Athena, you got Athena, Loki, Thor, Odin.
You know what's cool? That partly ties into Sea of Thieves.
Then you got Loki's kids, who were wolves, and they were I can't think of their names right off rip.
And so the movie Thor and everything is a somewhat accurate representation of what the gods would have been.
What movie Thor? I've seen over 1,000 movies called Thor.
Okay, so
like that's such a bad way to say.
That's true. The popular mainstream Marvel Thor.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen.
Yeah, no, I'm sure a lot of them. Yeah.
If you've seen some of the Thor movies I've watched, you would think those were way more accurate than
like Scandinavian movies.
Like, I'm talking about like heavy hardcore. Like, there is no Iron Man. There is no.
Yeah,
like
forget all those components.
Thor.
Yeah, forget all those components. You pay attention to just the Thor.
Yeah, there's even some of the characters they
like Asgard and
Asgard was a real place. Well, not.
Well, yeah.
In their thing, it was
it's
a
like
place.
In Greek mythology, they had their gods lived on a
certain, exactly
Mount Olympus.
Basically,
it was their Mount Olympus. I see.
So,
and you know what's cool about all that? I think no matter what the story is, they all have like a
similarity
to them. They all have a fucking place where the gods lived, or they had a great flood, which is a super interesting one that I want to get into a little bit later in the podcast. Like, I feel like these are all plays off of, like, not necessarily plays, but like all renditions, their own like religion and influenced what like the story they told of what really happened was. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, like, for sure.
Like, that's so cool to me. Like, I'm really interested in culture and religion and what like that shit's all just, it's a big melting pot, bro. It all comes together and it's so cool to me. There's certain shit that they put into religion to, like in Christianity, for example, to teach you morals and to that. I mean, that I guess, I agree with, but are written in there by people that, you know, that's not Jesus' teachings or anything. That's to give you good morals and to be a good human, you know what I mean? To not fuck with the process. And I feel like, although, like, no matter what they may have in them, they all have something very important inside of them. They all contain important pieces of history, for sure. And that's why it's always been real fucking interesting to me. Like, I always liked history class as a kid. Like, everybody said that shit was boring. I was just fucking.
I fucked with
it, me too, bro.
Like, all the way up until they got to the newer shit, and then I just lost all.
They started talking about all the judicial branch and
like, for real. It's like,
but ancient history, bro.
I liked everything from ancient history all the way up to World War II.
Yeah. Me too.
That was all pretty cool. And then they started getting into everything past that, you know, 2020.
Like, and what's sad about that, as I grow older and do my own research and shit, is that a lot of that shit is they kind of lied about in the textbooks. Like, if you really look at
a lot of it was all outdated, too.
Yeah,
like,
very outdated.
Shit, man. They didn't, when I was in school back in Illinois, we didn't really change our books. Like, they were outdated as fuck, bro.
Those books are based off of research done in the
back
80s.
Then,
like 70s,
bro.
80s,
like, fuck. I remember I had this one textbook, bro. I'm talking about these papers were yellow.
Mhm.
I'm talking about you turn it and the
it.
paper breaks off in your finger and it's like
There's fucking signatures from every kid that ever fucking lived.
bro. And then you hear these jokes, like these goofy ass jokes.
There's a nut stain on page
shit.
fucking 48.
Fucking,
like, I mean,
or little fucking the little dicks that they put right next to the numbers as you flip it, and it's just like.
Now though, what they do is I think they like change the what's it called, the curriculum every year. So there will be like a Scholastic 23,
they
a
update
Scholastic
it.
22, 24. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And that's good because they shouldn't be teaching that outdated fucking bullshit. Like, bro, why are they that lazy to write one book and then everybody's got to use that?
I feel like if they were doing books like that, then you need to stop trying to advance in humanity and just keep it like that. Like, fuck. If you want to teach them something from 50, 60 years ago, then leave it 50, 60 years ago. Mm-hmm. Sadly, well, not 50, 60 years ago, we have gone.
We have so much technology that has put us.
And I'm still behind on shit, bro. I barely know how to use my fucking own shit, man. Like, fuck.
You know what we should start doing on the podcast? We should start looking at, like, the newest technological advancements, like, in society and give our opinions and shit on that.
We could just even do that with the gaming consoles. Yeah. I mean, fuck. Xbox has, like, 60 fucking Xboxes at this point.
No.
just show a little graph of how the Xbox came from point A to point B.
No, I get that. I mean more of like shit like new advancements in like medicine or in just technology. Like dude, I seen I don't even know how to explain. It was like a mini helicopter, bro, that you could buy.
Oh, I see shit like that all the time.
Like
it almost looked like a big 1,300.
Yeah, or something like that. I think it was a little more expensive than that. It was like a real fucking. It was like a nanocopter. Or something.
It's like a little one-person chopper.
Shit. Yeah, and like, bro, like just technologically, but I can't even say the word technologically. We're going so far, bro, and it's
anyways,
crazy, dude.
We're going too far up. Yeah, we're supposed to be in like fucking 1200 AD.
Yeah, it is true.
Oh,
true. But
I think
we were going into Thor.
Odin, Thor, Odin,
and I was asking you about how Thor, like the movie, like if that actually has any like realistic ties into it. I know it's an exaggerated. Really. No, yeah, I know it's an exaggerated story for. The Marvel
they've
universe,
got like some, like they will have some. References. Yeah, like Thor, Odin. I don't think they had anything with.
I wish I was more up to date. Like I wish I read the comic books and shit like that. Like that'd be like more of our
part of Zeus's stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I see. Yeah, because that also ties into Greek mythology. And you want to get into that next? Greek mythology?
They definitely game to talk about Zeus and all of them for sure.
Dude, fuck yeah. I find
Zeus was a heavy. Back then, they called Zeus the father of all gods.
Yeah. That's because cool. that was the story. He was.
Then his wife was, I want to say it was either Pharaoh, I think that's her name. Either that or it was Aphrodite.
Aphrodite, yeah.
Was it Aphrodite?
It was Aphrodite. Or no. I think that was one of the daughters. It was not Athena.
I want to say it was Pharaoh. Or am I saying that? I might be butchering that name. Yeah, just Google Zeus's wife. Yeah. I know she was a total cunt. She hated his half son.
Hera.
What the fuck was I saying? Farah?
Yeah.
Stop.
OG Farah.
So it's Hera, and she is a dumb. You've got this marked for like no kids, right?
And you know what's funny about that? She's a dumb. Yeah, I do.
Okay, so she's a dumb bitch. Yeah, bro. Like
she's a dumb bitch, and she's the protector of marriage. Like she's the god of marriage and shit.
But if you look back in all the old Hercules shows, all the old movies, she is a bitch. She hates Zeus because, obviously he done just banged a bunch of mortal chicks, got them knocked up, and got a bunch of Disney kids. You got Hercules. You got, what was it? Perseus was the son of, was Perseus the son of Zeus, or was that... That might have been Poseidon.
Perseus was a demigod.
Yeah, he was a demigod. I just can't.
No, he was the son of Poseidon. That's what it was. You ever seen the movie Percy Jackson?
Yeah, but I've seen so many movies where when you hear Perseus, they've got him being a son of Zeus, and then they got him being a son of Poseidon, and it's like they always switch that one up. For sure. I'm about to double check on that.
Zeus was like a real interesting character in the mythology. Like he had a child out of his skull.
Mm-hmm.
Athena, or who was it? It was Athena. Yeah, Athena was, they say, born full grown, like a full grown woman, and they had to wedge open Zeus's skull and pull her out, and she was just like a full grown god, or like I don't know. It was weird.
All right, here's all of Zeus's kids. You got Dionysius, the god of wine, madness, and parties. He was the son of Zeus and Semele in Rick Richardson's mythology novels. So he half blood. Okay, so he was in part that. Hermes is the son of Zeus and Maya. Apollo is the son of Zeus and Leto. Yeah. Artemis, the twin sisters of Apollo and Artemis, was the goddess of the moon. All right, so those are both his kids too. Athena is also the daughter of Zeus. Hercules, the son of Zeus.
Yep, go.
So he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 kids. Mm-hmm. Whoa. This one, he's got 12. It says here he's got 12 kids. Let's see. Athena, Ares, I'm not even going to try pronouncing that one. Artemis, Apollo, the ones I just said. Hebe, Helen, Troy, Hercules, Hermes, Minos, Persephone. Yeah, right here. Perseus.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Now let's look up Poseidon, because I bet you they're just being fucking assholes here.
Now, have you ever heard the term Anunnaki before?
I have. Where the fuck have I heard that?
Anunnaki is what they call like the aliens and shit, right?
Oh, well, we're not on aliens.
No, I know. I just want to give a slight. So, some people believe that these gods and demigods were actually Anunnaki people, and the demigods were half Anunnaki, half humans, and such. And these stories, like, remember how earlier I said that I liked culture and religion so much because they all have a similarity and they all tell a certain story. Some people believe that the Anunnaki were those gods and demigods and shit. But I'll get into that a little bit more later once we're at the Egyptian part.
Oh, for sure.
But yeah, I just found that really interesting. So who was Poseidon? Like, why am I getting Perseus mixed up here? Because I feel like I thought the movie Percy Jackson was supposed to be the story, I guess, like the story of Perseus.
Let's see. All right, so in Greek mythology, Poseidon, the god of the sea, had many children, including Theseus, a strong, cunning human, the son of Poseidon, a mortal woman named Ethera. And you got some crazy shit.
Bellerophon.
There you go.
Pegasus.
Yeah. Wait, what? A winged horse that helped. Oh, so the Pegasus was that dude's horse. Okay. Then you got Philosophonius, the one-eyed giant and the most famous of the Cyclops, the son of Poseidon. Okay.
These are like chemicals, dude.
Yeah.
Their names look like fucking chemicals.
Antheus, Amicos. He's got the hardest kids to fucking pronounce, I tell you what. Yeah. And yeah, that one sounds like a fucking chemical. Bolophimus. I've heard that name in my games, though, too, whenever I played Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Yeah. That name's definitely used. So, yeah. So, thank God for Zeus for having the most simple names for the most part.
Indeed.
And fuck, man, Poseidon, what a fucking asshole with these fucking ridiculous ass names, man. Only one son name I could pronounce, and that was Theseus. Yeah. Pegasus ain't even a kid. He's just one of his kids' horses. So I don't even know why the fuck that's in there.
Yeah. Oh, shout out Hades, the god of war.
Right.
You know about Hades, correct?
Hades is the god of the underworld.
Oh,
Ares
right.
is god of war.
Yeah.
Almost. Almost.
Then I learned that shit in 4th grade, all right? Get on my back. Get on my back.
I wonder if Hades got any kids.
I think so. I remember learning something about that.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. So in Greek mythology, Hades had 3 children. Marcia, Milion, and Zagreus. So the first one, it says Zagreus, one of Hades' children, and some believe he was the son of Hades. Okay. So they don't know what the other 2 are, whether they're male or female. I'm guessing the first one's probably a female. That sounds kind of like a female-ish name. So, yeah. Now, did you know that Hades, Zeus, and Poseidon, before they went and decided Poseidon takes the sea, Hades takes the underworld, and Zeus takes the sky, basically. They had this father. What's she doing? Oh, they had this father, Kratos, I believe, but that's what his name. Let me just double check here real quick. So I do believe it was Kratos, but Kratos was the father of technically all gods, including Zeus. But he was fucked. He sat there. All right, he sat there and was eating his children.
Okay.
Like, and they basically said, instead of us getting eaten like the rest of those guys, why don't you, me, and him team up and kill our dad, and we'll cut him up and bury each body part somewhere else in the world.
Goddamn.
What's up, Corey? Nice that you like this, man. How you been? And where was I getting at? Okay, so they chopped up different body parts, and that was a video game.
Oh, you know what? Is that
what video game?
I think I know what they're referencing. Or no, I almost said Baldur's Gate, not that.
Oh, God of War. There you go. Yeah, God of War was a video game. Yeah, I got the game too. I've been seeing the trial, so I had to get into it anyway. So, yeah. Anyway, so they cut up Kratos and they buried him in different parts of the world, basically.
Right.
So that way he could never, come back or nothing like that again.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
And then they all just, well, it says they all decided, but I kind of feel like Hades kind of got dealt a shitty hand. So, you gotta stay down there for the most part, where it's hot 24/7.
Does this take place in the God of War games, like the older games? No. None of this. This was all way long after that in history, right?
Oh wait, no. So
Kratos is the main character in God of War.
So isn't Kratos is the main character? No. So the God of War is just its own thing. It's their own take on what's going on, basically.
I see.
I mean, they might. I can't really tell you much about God of War because I've only realistically played about 2 hours of the game.
Well, you didn't play any of the older ones? Like there was PS3.
I didn't have any PlayStation until PlayStation 5. Really? I am an Xbox person.
Guys, dude.
So you can't really ask me much about the game because I'm still getting into the game. Best game ever, I bet. I liked what I played so far. Anywho, where were we getting at before going into game mode?
That's what.
Okay, so
we were.
Yeah. Anyway,
you're going in about Kratos, and they buried parts of his body.
Yeah, they buried up all the body parts, got rid of them, and I feel like even though they all decided Poseidon gets the water, Zeus gets Olympics or the skies or whatever, and then Hades gets the underworld. I feel like they kind of like work together to scam Hades, because that's pretty shitty. You get to be surrounded by hot ass air, screaming people. I mean, that alone just makes you look like an asshole.
And I remember hearing a story about that. Like, there was a whole debate between that. They were gonna assign one of the other brothers to it, and he got stuck with it because of something that happened. Like, there's a whole story behind this. I swear, I remember sitting in school, little me, learning this. I can't fucking remember. I wish I would have had like a wiki or something pulled up to fucking read it off of, but
shit happens.
Dude.
We'll figure it out sometime. All right. So that's about all I got for that topic.
Yeah. You want to move on to ancient Egypt and
we can get shoot some Egyptian stuff at me. Yeah, we can go for some Egyptian.
Where should
I don't know a whole lot about the Egyptian stuff besides like what they do to the body to make a mummy. I can tell you about that.
Like, so have you ever done any research into the Great Pyramid at all?
I know enough to get by about it a little bit, I know it's all kinds of booby traps, and I know that they usually would have two different rooms. You would have one that was the actual, like, burial with the pharaoh and shit, and then you got, like, a side room that would have, like, their treasures and shit, and I know when they buried, like, the king, they would take his most precious pet. They take either 1 to 12 of his favorite slaves or whatever the fuck they called them back then.
I'm gonna blow your mind.
Then let's see, they get buried. They some of them get buried alive. Some of them get mummified. I know when they mummify you, they sit there, they cut you open, bleed you dry, fill you up with not sand, rice or some shit, and then they take your brain out through your nose.
I've heard about that.
Yeah, so I know how that shit goes.
You're referencing, right? That's what you think happens there?
Oh, I'm just talking about in general, just like what they do with the king, how they do that stuff, and then how they get the body ready. I know more like the real stuff, but as for more their mythology stuff, I know a little bit about Ra. I know a little bit about Anubis.
I'm not as in depth into that, but so like the Great Pyramid itself, there was never any bodies, remains, nothing ever found, right? And that's what, because the original thought was, all right, this was a place where they buried their kings, they buried their treasures. Nothing was ever found. So, how do you think?
1 second.
Of course.
Hell yeah, Corey. I'm glad you know. If you know anything, man, you're more than welcome to give us a call, and you can get in on our little podcast through voice, man. You're more than welcome to get in on this conversation, man. So you've got my number. Just shoot me a call real quick, and you can get in on this, man.
Definitely, bro.
I fuck with you heavy, Corey.
But so how do you think that they built the Great Pyramid, like that 450 foot?
So there's all kinds of ways, but from what I remember when I was researching about it and what I learned in school, they would sit there and they would get these big old bricks made, and they would have their slaves, which were realistically their own people, because they didn't care if you were the same people or if you weren't. If you were poor and you were not from a rich family, then So anyway, they would get these big old bricks they would make out of like mud and water and get those set up, and they would have to, have the oxes, and they would have to have people pull that shit. And I'm guessing they either had a pulley system or like a ramp system that they would have to get these as they build from the bottom up. So that way they can get everything going up to the top.
Oh, yeah.
And then depending on If it was the one for like the big boss, the king, they probably made the top out of like a gold
Quick
or
question.
some type of shit like that.
How heavy, or do you know how heavy the heaviest brick or heaviest stone was?
I believe the stones they were using was anywhere between a ton to like
to 90 tons.
Yeah.
90 tons is the biggest stone.
Mm-hmm.
So you're telling me some slaves moved 180,000 pounds?
I mean, they had an army of that shit. On top of they had oxes, cows.
The closest place to get stones like that from the pyramids is this quarry that's 52 miles away. So you're telling me they brought 90-ton stones 52 miles away. Let me ask you
this. Are you about to get into having aliens be helping them and shit?
No.
Okay.
I don't think it was that. I'll tell you what I think it was. Way more interesting than that, actually. So
anal beads.
Well, I know. I just wanted to see your opinion on that because, like,
I just know what I actually learned in school and what I actually watched from documentaries and shit like that. You know, I like the Egyptian stuff, but I wasn't as fascinated as I was with Vikings and old like Chinese and Korean mythology.
So, basically, bro, I think the Great Pyramid. So it definitely wasn't used for bodies. It wasn't used for treasure. It was used as like almost a power source, kind of, right? So there's multiple layers to the Great Pyramid. There is the top chamber. It's called like Gaia's something. There's the king's chamber, the queen's chamber, and then there's one at the bottom that I couldn't tell you what it's fucking called, but they have it built to where there's like basically a way for. Oh, hold on, let me make the blunt first. There's a way for them to get energy from kind of like solar power from the stars and from shit like that. They have the insides of the pyramid built as like a what's the word I'm looking for? A reservoir, kind of. Right. There's water at the bottom of the pyramid. I don't know if you've ever seen that. There's literally fucking 80 foot of water underneath this whole bitch that you can climb down to from in the king's chamber, right? Climb down this big fucking ladder. And then there's this water that hasn't been touched in thousands of years that'll fucking kill you. But, right. They think that used to be way higher up. That used to go like basically into the bottom of the pyramid. And they use that as like you know how they use water to power certain shit. I'm trying to think, what was it called? Hydrolysis.
Right.
You ever heard of that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like that's basically kind of what they did with it. And they had an understanding of frequencies. You know how frequencies work. Do you know anything about the whole frequency thing, or never really got into that? No. Yeah. So basically, like, that's like a whole nother podcast. But they basically understood how to make sound and vibrations work to their fucking to their favor, I guess. So they used it as like a power station, using the water, like I would have to pull up a chart to show you. Like it goes so deep, bro. This thing wasn't used as a fucking coffin or a place to store treasure. It was, I feel like, in my opinion, a power station that they built, kind of. And they built this in other places. Like there's giant temples in Mexico, in China, in places in India, and fucking you name it. There's probably a temple there. And a lot of people think that those were all like a communication system, a power system, kind of what we have now. It's like it would take me hours to go into every fucking detail about it, but like it's so crazy what you're taught as a kid. You know what I mean? They built fucking sticks and stone ramps and fucking pulled the blocks up. Like that couldn't happen. Right. Pulling 90 tons up a fucking wood ramp. You shouldn't be. The bitch break. Gone. And I did the calculations, like the math. You need a 4 mile long fucking ramp to get blocks up to the height of the top. So if you're building a 4 mile long ramp, you're the GOAT. You're the fucking, I don't know. I really don't know. But, any thoughts on that?
Not really.
No.
That stuff is just above my pay grade.
Yeah. It's hard to break down. Like, I wish I could fucking like show you a. You know what? I can. I can actually. Great. Great Pyramid. Going to what you know about about Ra, and I mean that was like their sun god apparently.
Yeah, that's what I know about it. Like I know Ra is the sun god. Anubis, if I remember, was like a god for the underworld. He would take you to where you would be judged to see if you're going down or up to their version of heaven and stuff,
Okay, so here's
it's really about all I got,
Okay.
I don't really know a whole shit ton about
Here's a chart to show you, right? So
you can show them too on the chart.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
I guess you can't show them.
Shit, maybe I can a little bright. Oh yeah,
that looks way better there now.
All right, so this is the chart of the inside layout of the Great Pyramid of Giza. You can look it up for yourself. Basically, so do you see this air shaft?
Yeah.
These right here. This is what circulated in I guess the frequency. I'm talking about the vibrations, the wind, everything, right? And this is down here. Let me turn my brightness back up because it's fucking us looking at it now. But this down here is where the water sat.
Right.
Okay. So use this as this is all water, right? Like this is usually where people come in at over here on the side. That's all they get to show you ever, like on tours and shit.
Right.
Like people don't really get to tour this whole thing.
Well, there's booby traps in them bitches too. So I was like, if you actually try to tour they haven't set certain traps off, you're just gonna.
That's fake. There's no booby traps. That's the ones. That's the like memorial ones. They did that where they actually buried kings and shit. They set booby traps. Like here, this wasn't a place.
So if there's not a king that's in there, that is more than likely chill.
Yeah.
Well, what about spots where there's poison gases? Because after something's been sealed for so long,
the only real
oxygen goes stale and gets gross and bad and becomes more of a toxin than oxygen.
There's air shafts and such built all over this thing that lead out. So it's all filtered with there. The only dangerous part about the pyramids themselves is the water, the untouched water that sits at the bottom. Because do you know anything about stagnant water?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically gray water.
Yeah, and that's thousands years old, full of crazy bacteria we've never even heard of water. That's the dangerous thing.
Oh, she's playing fucking Call of Duty.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there like, what the fuck is that noise,
so
bro?
Basically, right, they would stand here in the king's chamber, and this little thing right here is like a gong type shit. They would hit some sort of bell or gong or some shit and create that vibration, that frequency, and that would resonate throughout this whole chamber and down throughout this water. And somehow, I don't know the exact science behind it. I don't even think any scientists do, because that was their method, that was their technique. It would like resonate that water and create whatever the sort of power or communications or whatever they were doing. And like this is a proven, like this is literally the layout. Just let's go. Like I don't know, it's a lot to get into. It's real scientific and shit. But it's that. I mean, that's the lesson, or what I'm saying behind that.
The lesson.
Yeah, I mean, what I'm saying about that basically is they were so fucking. They were so advanced, bro. Like there were so many civilizations before us. We think we're advanced now that we're.
But for them, at their point in time.
But you never know. What if they were like this and they got wiped out? A flood.
They could. A flood
would wipe us out right now and we'd restart.
Could have been. We don't know. We were not alive
Yeah.
billions of years ago, millions of years ago.
Well, what's cool is in all different religions they talk like Noah's Ark. That's the Great Flood that's been spoken about in every religion has a certain.
You know, I heard about Noah's Ark, how they had 2 of every animal. Well, they had 2 unicorns, but you know, one of them was retarded, walked away, and that's why we don't see unicorns today, because that one got wiped out by the flood, and the other one died lonely. Now you just got horses, because, hey, there's your unicorn.
Yeah, indeed.
No, that wasn't a dumbass old side cartoon thing I saw.
That was a Family Guy flashback right there. That was a little fucking cutback. But, fuck, where was I going with that? Oh yeah, they always, every culture has some sort of flood fucking story. So any sort of evidence of a super civilized, like our advanced civilization before us is just wiped by catastrophic events that happen every so often. And it's gonna happen to us eventually, and we're all this is gone, restarted.
Hopefully I'm long gone by then.
Oh yeah, we will be, I'm sure. Hopefully, I hope. Yeah. Fuck, man, I hope for real. I'm sure it will be. Like there's this one fucking professor. I can't remember. It's like Nike or
Professor Indy from Indiana Jones.
Professor fucking Stunchberger. I don't know, dude. But
I think it would be cool to get interviewed with some sort of like mythology, like scientists and shit. I can actually someone that can answer a lot of this more accurately than us. That'd be so lit.
Now we're a bunch of stoners talking about fucking.
Hey, maybe we can go to UT and talk to the professors and see if we can get close enough.
If we do that, we'll just have to do it more official. Because I'd be 100% down for that. Like.
I've got like straight up real professional things. If you go on one, we had a reptile one with this guy that does shit with reptiles.
Yeah, fuck yeah. I'm just saying, and we could do it in a different setting, like at a place and shit, and we could do it like we're not gonna be like just kicking it, like having like smoking weed, having a conversation. Like we could set up a real fucking like almost like a news interview. But anyways. Yeah, dude, I just think that it's so cool how fucking the misconception for one on the pyramid and how advanced they fucking were, what they could have been. Yeah, if that civilization would have kept going until now, we would have been the dystopian future that we see in movies and by now. Maybe.
I thought we would have had flying cars.
Yeah, we would have had them back to that's what I was just gonna say. We would have had them back to the future flying cars by now, bro. But the government would rather make money.
We would have had cars that ran on water, bro. Yeah. But pretty sure, hate me, don't hate me, whatever. Pretty sure.
Allegedly, they killed that guy.
Yeah, exactly. Allegedly, the guy that invented the cars that ran on water, they took him out of the game.
They poisoned him at a restaurant. I know the whole story.
I thought they fucking had an accident.
No. They poisoned him at a restaurant. And his last words were like him fucking running out the restaurant and falls to his knees and he's like, they poisoned me. Dies, bro. Dead. Gone. Imagine that's how you go out just because you wanted to make
one of our next videos soon. We'll be talking about cars that run on water, man.
Yeah. And cars that run on semen. Me and Kelso's own invention. No.
His invention.
No. Yeah, we actually patented that back in the.
Now he's got a little baby bug popping out the back.
Yeah, we fucking patented that back in the 80s, and Richard Nixon took that one. So if you see a cum car popping up soon from the Nixon Corporation, it's my idea.
I'm weak as fuck. This guy. The day they make vehicles that run off nut, I don't want to be that guy. God, take out this earth, please.
You just make vehicles that run off of nothing. Nothing.
Well, I mean, air.
Yeah. Off of.
Can't get more nothing than air.
Yeah.
I mean, air something keeps us on
oxygen-based engine. Well, they have nitrogen-based engines.
I mean, they got solar-based engines too.
Our atmosphere is mostly made up of nitrogen, and they have nitrogen.
I'd make I'd definitely rather have a car that runs on water.
Yeah.
Water is infinite.
And that's what we were talking about earlier, that hydrolysis. That's what that
Again, this is a mythical episode.
Indeed.
So these conversations will be saved for our next one.
Yeah. And you know what? We'll get back a little bit back into mythics here.
Just I really don't got a whole lot more.
So you want to talk about Chinese Empire and shit? Do you know? As you said, you know a bit about that, like the Mongolians and shit.
I know more like
samurais and
a little bit like. I know the negative parts. You know, their sacrifices when.
Go ahead, speak on it, Talk about it.
I'm trying to think. I think it's called a saku. I think that's what it's called. That's what I was explaining to you earlier. Let me double check here. Sorry, everybody.
Like a heroin den or something. You know what that is? A heroin den. It's where you go to just die at an old age in China. It's let you overdose on heroin in peace.
Why do you get this to me?
Sorry.
Samurai.
Yeah. I could have spelled that for you.
Well, fuck off, okay? That's what I got for you. Just fuck off.
Okay, samurais, man. No, but a little PSA, man. Gaming episode coming soon. Look out for that.
It's called seppuku. Is a Japanese ritual where a samurai kills himself by cutting into his belly after one had done, so a second person would cut off his head. It was thought to be that seppuku was an honorable way to die. Sometimes it is called harakiri, which is translated from Japanese as belly cutting. So I'm sorry to anyone who is
not mythology.
You know, anyone who's Korean or Asian, I'm sorry if I completely butchered my pronunciations on this. I have a speech impediment, and I'm just straight up
and we're white.
Retarded.
That as well.
So, again, I do apologize if I butchered anything I've tried to say. But, yeah, so that was something I was into learning about because I thought that was really cool. Like, I mean, it's not cool, but at the same time, it's cool. I know, so there's one where it's similar to this, but instead you don't get your head cut off. Anyway, so when you got they had these generals, and they had just lost a war, you know, everyone's running off and so on and so forth. And, well, not really the war, but they lost their bad, but they were all caught and shit. And instead of being taken prisoner, they all lined up next to each other and stabbed, like, not each other, but stabbed themselves in the stomach and did this to themselves so that way they could have their honorable death because they weren't going to be caught. But then, what was it? I think one of the soldiers was able to stop the one dude. He wasn't a general or nothing. He was just a young, like, cadet, just a newbie, just got thrown out there, you know, like fresh off the belt type shit. Kept him from killing himself and was able to take him prisoner and da-di-da-di-da-da. And he was able to be released, lived his life, and died, I think, an old man. You know, but it's like they are heavy, like they're heavy with that shit, man. And I'm talking about that's all the way up in the Korean wars and shit that they were still doing that shit with the swords and shit, man. And it's just like, whoa. I do not have the balls to plunge a sword as big as this chopstick into my stomach, let alone into my stomach and cut my stomach open. No. I guess I'm gonna be an unhonorable man and get caught.
Fuck yeah.
I didn't know what. You want to shoot me in the face? Shoot me in the face. I am not putting a dagger in my fucking stomach, bro. Fuck that. You best get me on high on every drug you can possibly think, because, buddy, as soon as a knife pokes my belly, I'm a whoo. What the fuck you guys thinking? Nah, no. Nope, not this guy. Nope. As soon as that pointy move, no, fuck that. I can barely stand getting a tattoo on my ribs. You really think I'm gonna stick a fucking knife or dagger or whatever into my stomach? Hell no. They just, whoa, heavy. Oh, really heavy. You know, I was about to change the subject off the mythology shit again, but no, honestly, that's all I got for that one. So, well, we could probably get ready to end this unless you got something else you want to throw on there.
I thought of one more thing. Let's go with one more thing. Fucking just like going into some history shit. Something interesting.
Like old history or like new history?
Well, I mean, this is probably 500 years ago history.
That's still not bad.
That is decent. Yeah. So there was this colony called the Lost Colony of Roanoke. I think it was. You ever heard of that? Roanoke? So basically there was this they came over to the Americas in this place called Roanoke.
What the fuck did you call it?
What?
Before that?
Roanoke.
Before that?
What do you mean?
What'd you say before? You said they came from where? I
don't know. I don't know. I mixed up my words. No, okay. I get what you're saying. No, they came from Europe, right?
Okay, I'm sitting there like
they were settlers that came from Europe.
Right? Okay,
they settle in the Americas. I said the Americas. Is what I said.
Yeah, the Americas. I'm sitting there like
So like you know what I mean? Like they came over from Europe to the Americas.
It's just America.
North and South America. What do you mean? The two continents, the Americas.
I've never heard it called the Americas.
That's what all the explorers and shit call it. You never heard of that, really?
I've not once heard it.
An explorer that comes from.
I just heard America, North America, South America, up.
Yeah, there's the Americas. Yeah, but I mean, we're the we're the United States of America. They're just fucking South America. Yeah, it's it's two completely different things, but they're both Americas.
Don't talk about my Southerners like that. What's wrong with you?
No, South America, below the border, South America is what I'm talking about. That's South America, not south of our country, dude. But all right, anyways,
I was just giving you shit.
So they came here and settled, right? And eventually, like after a couple months, they start to run out of supplies, and they got to send a guy back to go. I mean, just restock a ship and bring shit back for the settlers. Because they're trying to start a new colony there.
Yeah.
And he's like, all right. His name was John White or something like that. And he's like, all right, well.
I thought you were about to say John Wayne. I would have pissed myself. Now I'm talking about like John Wayne, like the cowboy.
Oh, yeah, fuck yeah. But so basically, they send John White and a crew of men back to Europe to go get supplies. Mm-hmm. And so this was probably a 1-2 month expedition. You know, and this wasn't too long, but it was some time. And they come back, right? They get all the supplies from the colony in Europe, from the king. They tell the king how the settlement's going over there. Like, all right, we're out of here, motherfucker, deuces, right? They go back to Roanoke. They arrive in Roanoke, right? And walking up, they're like, what's going on here? Why is there no fires? What's happening? And I don't see no movement. So they walk into the village. Nothing there. It's all this whole built up community that they had that probably had around like 2,000 or so people living in it. Disappeared. Gone. Right? No trace. And the only thing that remained there was this big tree that sat somewhat in the middle, and carved on it were the words Croatian or Croatian or something like that.
Croatia?
No, not Croatia. Not like the country. Croatian. or like Croatoan or something like that.
Some weird shit. Okay.
Yeah. And they had no idea what the fuck that meant. And they were like,
was it like a lost language or something?
Maybe, yeah. They think like could have been maybe Native Americans or something, possibly. But why would they do that? Like just like steal? I don't know. Because those were some of the first settlers in America. So it's not like they already had beef with the American or the English. Like this would have been some of their first time seeing the English people. So why would they just take a full village of them and carve that shit into the fucking tree and make all it in some evil fucking way?
I mean,
so basically,
I can kind of see as a Native American, like if I was them and I just saw these. I'm just gonna simply say whites because at the time most of them were whites.
They were all white.
So as a Native American, as an Indian, I see these pale faces, white people coming out of nowhere, and then they have, instead of arrows and daggers, they have these boom boom sticks that sit there, and they can get you from fucking 60 feet away. When they were, I'm pretty sure when they were settling, they had one-shot rifles because that was the same thing with pirates and all that shit. I'm 70% sure they might have had one-shot muskets and shit. The little round one, the round bullets. You know what I mean?
They might have. This was like late 1500, or this was this was late 1400s, 90s.
Let's see. Let me see.
Look up the lost colony of Roanoke.
Well, I was gonna look up this. So it was 1288.
Yeah.
The metal hand cannon evolved from the fire lance around 1288. The Yuan dynasty used the metal hand cannon to win a decisive victory against the Mongolian rebels. Gunpowder was invented in China, most likely by alchemists seeking an elixir of life. Historians estimate that they discovered the explosive properties of gunpowder early 850 AD.
Oh, shit. So, yeah, maybe. Definitely, probably.
And what were you saying? The English?
Yeah.
So, when did the English come to America? Because America was originally where the Native Americans were, correct?
Or just look up the lost colony of Roanoke.
Lost colony?
Yeah, of Roanoke.
It's already here. 1585. So guns were made before then. So yeah.
No, for sure. So 100% could have been Native Americans. Who fucking knows?
But I bet you only
is crazy.
I bet you only like a handful of them had got like the captains and like the big bosses. Because right here, this guy's got a musket. It looks like it there. But every other guy's got a sword.
Yeah.
So there you go. Fun fact discovered. Bam.
Indeed. And that's good. Good little spot to end it there. We went through a lot.
Are you eating that fucking Baja ice cream?
Yeah, Paul got it for me.
Does it taste good?
It's like frozen Baja.
I don't think pop should be in ice cream. Pop's fizzy. Ice cream's not. So ice cream that's not fizzy, I don't know how I feel about that. But I am not trying that.
I don't mind it, though. I'm not spending $4 on it, though.
Yeah.
So we'll talk more about good food and trashy food in one of our next podcasts for sure. So we will put this topic on hold. And if you got anything else you want to talk about, then I think we should end this.
Nice one, yeah.
And guys, thanks for checking us out. Sorry if you couldn't reply. I think we might have messed something up there, but
yeah, I had live chat replay. I don't know what.
I'm gonna play with it, see if I can fix it here in a little bit. But you guys have a great day. Thanks for viewing, and we'll see you next time. We'll be live Wednesday. Peace.